Hi there, this is Prague Talk, a podcast from Radio Prague International. My name is Ian Willoughby. In this episode, my guest is filmmaker Ondřej Provazník. Ondřej is the writer-director of Broken Voices, a new Czech drama that's in the main competition at the ongoing Karlovy International Film Festival. The powerful movie follows a 13-year-old girl as she comes under the sway of the conductor of her choir, and it's inspired by a scandal centred on the head of a Prague girls' choir who was jailed on multiple sexual abuse charges. I spoke to Ondřej Provazník ahead of the world premiere of the film, whose Czech title, Sbormistr, translates literally as the Choirmaster, and that's for this edition of Prague Talk. Ondřej, you and I have known each other, I think, for almost 20 years, but I never found out or never asked you what led you to film in the beginning.
Actually, when I was in a secondary school, our math teacher, he bought a camera for the school, and there was a kind of audition. He said, like the people from the school should make film squads, and everybody should film a short story or short film about our school. So we set up the group of 3 or 4 guys, and we were the only one who finished the film. And as a reward, we had a possibility to use the camera. And that's how we started to do short films just for fun. And that's how I get to a film, and then it started to be my dream, and step by step I started to very, very slowly build up my film career.
What kind of movies do you typically like as a viewer?
I like movies that somehow move me in a certain way, that activize me. And I like really lots of different genres, lots of different sorts of film. I like Hollywood-style films, but at the same time I like slow cinema, like Apichatpong Verasetáku or Carlos Raigaras, these kind of slow and meditative films in which you can somehow slow down and think about different reality and think about life in the cinema. I love those films as well. And I learned from them a lot.
Well, your new film, Broken Voices, will have just had its world premiere by the time this interview goes out. It's loosely inspired by the case of the Bambini di Praga, this girls' choir, where the choirmaster Bohumil Kulinski was found guilty of sexually abusing around 24 girls. What motivated you to make this film?
It's a complex matter. Like in 2004, when this choirmaster was arrested, I had a very specific moment or thing that happened to me. It was a couple of months, I would say, after the choirmaster was arrested. I was in a night bar, and next to me there were a group of young women who started to call to somebody, and after a couple of minutes they started to sing to the mobile phone in very perfect polyphony. And from the context of what they told him after that, I found out that they are singing to this choirmaster Bohumil Kulinski to the prison. And it was kind of bizarre, pervert, magic moment in which the ambiguity of the whole trial and everything was somehow imprinted, and I was fascinated by that moment. For a long time I had it somewhere inside me. And then in 2018, when the worldwide Me Too movement broke out, I remembered that moment, that memory, and I said, okay, this was kind of special precursor of this Me Too movement, special Czech precursor to that. I think I should make a film out of that, because there was so much interesting in it. It wasn't this kind of black and white story like Harvey Weinstein scandal, because the former choir girls split themselves for two sides. One was defending the choirmaster. The other side accused him of many very, very dark things and sexual abusing and all those things. So it was kind of, at least at the beginning, it was this ambiguity in it and some controversial things that attracted me. Plus, there was big potential for the film because there was the audiovisual attraction from that. The music, the highs and lows of the story that goes together in the story. I thought that it could be a very strong film, very strong story.
I'm sure you've thought about this. I'm not sure you'll have an answer, but why do you think a certain section of the former choir girls were defending Kulinski? They must have known to some degree what he did.
That was also my question, and I did researching interviews with the former choir girls from the Bambini di Praga, with the victims, but also with the girls or with the women that were not like harmed by him, and it was very, very complex question. And one of the reasons that I did the film, and I tried to find out. I think the reason is that all those girls, even the victims, from what they told me, they had really, really good time in the choir. They went through so many good years, their formative years of their teenage, and it's very difficult for anybody, I think, just to look back at the formative years of your childhood and said it was all spoiled, it was all bad. If it's somehow connected with your identity, with everything what you also like about yourself, about your childhood, then it's very difficult just to spoil it, to say, oh, it was all dark, it was all bad, let's forget it. It's not as easy. It's a very fragile, delicate thing to deal with those things.
The film centres on two sisters. One is 13, one is 15. Given the subject matter and the fact that the actresses also had to have fantastic voices, could you describe the casting process for Broken Voices?
One of the most important things for me was that all the music scenes in the film would be as authentic as possible. So I tried to find out the actresses among the choirs. So we did like really large casting in the choirs in the Czech Republic, but then we concentrated on very professional, great choir, keen children's choir, and there we did casting among 180 girls or something like that, and there I found out my main character, who was simply great. And but I found there also most of the girls who are in the film choir. So I set up the film choir from this keen children's choir, and it allowed me to film all the scenes without playback, live, with all the authenticity and all the naturalness that I wanted.
Your lead actress, Kateřina Falbrová, is amazing. As you say, though it was her first film, what did you see in her, and what was the process like of guiding her through her first movie?
I don't know. Somehow I knew it from the beginning. When she went on the stage during her first casting appearance, I said to the DOP who was sitting next to me, to Lukáš, look at her, that's her. And then step by step in every next level of auditions, she just confirmed her talent. So the biggest thing for her was to accept the whole process of shooting, because it's a very stressful thing and it's very demanding for a 13-year-old girl. Of course, then I found Maya Kinta, her 15, who acts in her 15-year-old sister, who is also very natural and who had some film experience before. So I somehow worked with them both, and I have to say they were just perfect. They were like a professional actress. Of course, Kateřina was more or less in the age of her character, so she was somehow very much the girl who she performed. So in that way, it was quite easy for her. And she's so natural in that way that she just doesn't reflect techniques, camera, the operators. She on the set, she is always concentrated on her partner and on the situation, and she reacts very naturally on everything, which is the ability that most of the professional actors don't have. It was simply amazing to work with her.
You worked with a lot of teenage girls on this project. The Bambini di Praga case is kind of notorious. Was it difficult to convince the parents that you had good intentions and all of that kind of thing?
Actually, it wasn't difficult, but it was tricky. It was very difficult to convince the keen children's choir because they were afraid of their reputation to be connected with this old scandal. So it took me a while, I would say years, to convince them to be part of the project, and I'm very grateful that they did it eventually. But with the girls, they wanted to be in the film. But I knew that it was tricky, so I insisted that their parents read the script, the whole script, that they knew all the consequences and everything that can happen, not only somehow during the shooting, but especially after the film is released, because you never know how the reactions gonna be. I don't know it now, so they have to be prepared on different way how the audience is gonna react. And I try to create a safe environment during the shooting as possible for them. We had an intimate coordinator, we had a psychologist, we had the acting coach, and I tried to. That was the first thing, and then, of course, I tried somehow get rid of the stress during the shooting process. So I tried to have the set as light as possible, which is, of course, kind of very difficult because the set is always stressful. So those two things went against each other, like the production and the lightness or the good mood on the set, but somehow it worked.
Was it hard to write the character of the choirmaster because he has to be charismatic, I guess, otherwise it doesn't make sense that he would be able to do what he did?
Actually, it was the most difficult part for me as a scriptwriter to write him, but he's not the main character of the film, so he doesn't change a lot during the film. Maybe just the viewer, the audience, step by step discovers the reality of his character, what kind of manipulative or at the same time charismatic figure he is. And I connected this feeling also very much with the appearance of the actor who plays his role, which is Juraj Loj. I wanted from the beginning that the actor would be charismatic and attractive man, because I didn't have a mini-series in which I could develop the character for hours. I just had this 90 minutes story, and I needed him to be as dominant, as good-looking, as attractive as possible from the beginning. And then we worked with Juraj on his character very much. He had been training conducting for half year before the shooting started, because I knew that people, the audience, they had to trust the character that he's the real musician, and I think we succeeded. And we then on the set we had the real choirmaster who helped him with the scenes, and who also helped us to shoot all the music scenes without playback.
Well, I also read that Juraj Loj himself learned violin or something. Did you also learn music? Because it struck me watching the film that you must have understood music to even approach this film.
Yes, very much so. I played clarinet when I was a little kid, and then guitar. So music is means very much for me, and I know this environment. It was kind of coming back to my teenage, and I know very much of that. I played in orchestra, so it was a familiar experience to write a script for me, and then to be on the set with all the musicians. It was just a joy. Although the story is dark, the music gives that this kind of contrast of beauty, this contrast I wanted to imprint in the film.
The film is partly set in New York. What did your producer say when he realized this was part of your plan to take the whole operation to the Big Apple?
Actually, he agreed because he knew it's an important part of the story. I wanted the choir went to some really perfect spot, some real perfect place for the tour, that it would be kind of highlight also for the contemporary audience, because in 1992 we would be happy to go to Vienna or to Munich or to Paris. We would be completely happy, but for contemporary audience, for contemporary teenagers, it's not as huge. So I thought the America, New York, it's just something that is that really rules somehow. So we knew that from the beginning that we want to go there, but you can dream about something like that, but to make it happen, this different story. At the beginning, we thought we would shoot these New York scenes in studios in Sofia. Then we considered Toronto, but we never found so many locations there to be able to cover all the scenes. So at the end of the day, we just went for location scouting and for recce to New York. And I can describe it, long story in short, that we prepared 4 shooting days for a half year.
But given that you set the film in the early 90s, New York has changed a lot since that time. How difficult was it to get the kind of backgrounds that you needed?
Actually, we found some streets and some spots that worked for us. Of course, there are some CGI moments in the film, and then it's true that certain scenes, there were only like very short time when we could shoot it, or very limited portion of time and space in which we could shoot the scene, and it was very difficult to prepare it and to make it happen. And it was a combination of very, very, very concentrated preparation and improvisation.
I always imagined it would be virtually impossible for a relatively small film to shoot in New York. How did you get permits, or how did you even, for example, get to shoot on the subway?
Well, that's the thing. You're just stepping into the completely new environment. So the things that we thought would be completely impossible were possible in the end. Like we had a road closure in Greenwich Village, and it wasn't as expensive. It was almost the same expensive like here in Vršovice, where we are sitting now. So it was surprising. Of course, we had an American service production company that helped us with those things, but other things were just incredibly complicated. And yes, we shot in the streets, we shot in a metro, and the truth is they didn't want us to do the scenes or do the shootings because the police in New York Metro is very much afraid of young guys who are riding on the trains and do this suicide hobby. So there are everywhere cameras and everything is guarded by cameras and by police. But in the end, they let us do 1 or 2 shots. And we just succeeded. It was kind of risk, but I prepared the whole scene, the whole shots like 1 day before, as a rehearsal with all the crew, without camera, and then we did it live, and we had this 1 or 2 shots, and we did it. So that was it. But of course, there was a big risk in it and big courage from all the crew, from all the actors. So it was adventure. But I like adventure, and I came from the documentary environment, so I'm not afraid of doing those things. And my DOP, Lukáš Milota, as well. So we just wanted to do it, and we did it.
The film, after, 7 or 8 years' work, it's finally coming out. It has just had its world premiere at Karlovy. What does it mean for you that the film is in the main competition at Karlovy?
I think it's amazing. I think it's just a great start for a Czech movie to have the possibility to start our film in the A-level film festival. It's amazing. You know, the competition now, it's so strong. It's so difficult to get your film on any good festival, and Karlovy is a great festival. It's so difficult. So I very much hope that it will help not only the Czech distribution, but for sure the European or worldwide distribution. Even now we have already the sales agent and all those things, and I think it will help us a lot.
Many thanks to Ondřej Provazník for speaking to me in June 2025 about his film Broken Voices for this edition of Prague Talk, a podcast from Radio Prague International. Also, full disclosure, I myself did the subtitles for the film, which is one reason that I'm so familiar with the project. If you're new to this pod and enjoyed my chat with Ondřej, why not check out some earlier conversations in the series and sign up wherever you get podcasts. But for now, from me, Ian Willoughby, thank you so much indeed for listening to Prague Talk, and talk to you again very soon.